Live here. This is Mark Gordon, and I'm talking about detoxification of the lymphatic system. This is cellular detoxification, getting the acids out of the body, which will in turn get the inflammation out of the body. And I just want you guys to know I'm not a medical doctor, and I'm giving you basically information about how you can help the body heal. And herbs don't do the healing. They just assist the body in clearing out things. Most of these so-called diseases are really glandular problems and clogged organs. Lymph fluids, they're all through the body. You have hundreds of thousands of miles of pipes, tubes all through the body. Most of it is lymphatic fluid, 75% lymph, 25% blood. Blood is very easy to clean. Blood acids remains very stable, but it's the lymph that is really the problem. The lymphatic system is really hard to keep clean, especially when you're eating a standard American diet and living a standard American lifestyle. So this is what we like to talk about, and it's really super simple. Basically, you just start putting in the food you're meant to eat, and the body starts doing the rest. Now, we do use the herbs to help us clear out specific areas. So that's basically it. And I want to talk about a couple of things. I was gone for a couple of weeks on vacation. And then last week I was trying to go live and I had some software issues and it was just horrific. I couldn't get live to you guys and I really apologize. I was really trying. I'm a one-man band here. This is my TV studio, my living room. I figured out how to do all this stuff and set up the camera and lights and all this kind of stuff. So it's a bit of an amateur operation, but I think it's getting the job done. I think we're doing a great job together. You guys are feeding me a lot of great questions and challenging me a lot, and keeping me on my toes. I certainly research a lot during the week, so I can be up on things to help you guys. So I want to talk about a couple of things. One thing I posted on my website, it was a couple. I think the guy is 72 years old and the woman is 68. They ran, get this, they ran 366 consecutive marathons all around Australia, 10,000 miles, and all on raw food. So I get a lot of people, when I lay out a diet plan, I say, okay, this is how you're going to help heal the body. You're going to get on raw food. You're not going to cook your food. You're going to eat mostly fruits and vegetables. They look at me like I'm crazy and that they're going to just wither away. They're not going to have their meat and all the things they're used to eating, so that they're just going to just wither away into nothingness. Well, let me tell you, these people are just absolutely amazing. Even marathon runners are just in awe of what these two accomplished. And if you go to my site, markjamesgordon.com, you can watch their story. And there's a feature film documentary coming out on what they did. So this is the power of raw living food. And I know a lot of you have experienced it. I've certainly experienced it. I'm experiencing it now. I'm at very high levels of raw, very high levels of fruit, and just feel amazing. I live in Ventura, California. It's been quite chilly here, but I've been fine. I take a little bit of ginger tea with a little pinch of cayenne before I go surfing. I was out surfing today. The water, I believe, was in the high 50s. I wore a wetsuit, of course. But I was on all fruit this morning, and the waves were pretty big. It was we have the big swells coming in from Alaska right now, so I was fine. I had plenty of energy. The inflammation is so down in my body, it's unbelievable, and partly because over Christmas time I got either sick or it was a detox. It's hard to tell. I overly chilled my body. I was at a house, actually my dad's house, and it's more of a summer house, and it's hard to heat. So I got chilled, and I think it kicked up a detox. Sometimes when you really chill the body down, you can stir the pot. And the first night, well, I'll tell you what happened was I got chilled. I was driving home and I just got chilled, so I turned the heater on and was having a hard time getting my body heat back. And so then I took a bath when I got home, and I got a lot of hot water in the bathtub, and I couldn't get my body heat back for I think 15 minutes or so. So it finally came back. So I got out of the tub and I was really, really warm, and I just felt nauseous, and I vomited. And from that point on, that night, I had a high fever, and the kind where you're just sweating and the bed gets wet and all that. And I just wrote it out. I didn't take any suppressants. I think I took a little. I took one Advil because it got the body aches got pretty bad. I tried not to take anything, but I did succumb to an Advil. But and I spent a couple of days not in bed. I was still able to get out and walk the dog twice a day. I didn't go surfing or anything, but or expend a lot of energy. But I wasn't completely down. But I used the time to recharge the body. I let the body naturally purge these things. And this is something that Dr. Morse says. He even says, you see somebody with a cold or the flu, go hug him. You think he's crazy, right? I don't want to catch a cold or the flu from somebody. But he has a point that sometimes the body, will go into these what we think are sicknesses, but they're really a time for the body to rest, recharge, and detoxify to a very high level. And I must say, when this passed, I think it was about 4 days, 3, 4 days when the worst was over. When it finally passed, I felt so good. I feel really good right now, and it's been I think about 2 weeks since that. So it's interesting. It's just food for thought. I know it sounds crazy. I mean, we don't welcome sickness, but sometimes it's the body, trying to purge things that are deep inside of us. And it was a great self-experiment, I must say. Anyways, I'm going to get to your questions. I wanted to talk tonight a little bit about diabetes. Now, again, I don't believe diabetes is a disease. I'm not going to call it a disease. I don't even like to call it diabetes. It's high blood sugar is what it is. And so basically, we consume a lot of carbohydrates in our diet, and a lot of diets around the world. And I'll get back to that thought in a minute. But when you look at that, I talked about that Harvard study from Harvard Medical. It's on my website. And it's really an important study for a couple of reasons. Number one, it shows the glycemic index, which shows how fast your blood sugar is raised by a food you take, and the glycemic load. And the glycemic load is how much your blood sugar is raised. So those are two numbers to look at. And it is from Harvard, so it gives a lot of credibility to this information. And as I said, a bagel raises your blood sugar 5 times more than an apple. And it's these complex carbohydrates that are found in these processed grains, in all grains, that are really, really hard on us, and can overtax the pancreas, and get it to shut down. It can overtax the adrenal glands. And there's a few more things involved too with diabetes, of course, but I was actually talking to somebody from India, and she's an Indian woman, about 50, I guess. And I asked her, I said, is there a high incidence of diabetes in India? Because I know they eat a lot of grains. It's a poor country, and grains are part of their staple. And she says, yes, and as a matter of fact, I have diabetes, and a lot of people I know have diabetes. So the fact is that the grains, when you look at this chart, on my website, you'll see that the grains are really the culprits. And the white rice is way up there. I think it is probably the most glycemic loading of all the foods. That, and I believe it was instant oatmeal. Those two really, really load you up. So if you have diabetes, pre-diabetes, any kind of blood sugar problems, really, really look at this. Even if you don't, I mean, there's 30 million people with diabetes, 90 million people pre-diabetic in this country. I mean, it's unbelievable. So it goes to show you that fruit does not raise the blood sugar as much as we think it does. And part of that reason is that fruit sugar is so easily accepted by the cells in the body. It does not require insulin to transfer through the cell wall into the cell. So it's not going to tax your pancreas. And of course, the cells run on sugar. You cannot avoid sugar. You're going to either get it from fruit, or you're going to get it, which is the simplest and the easiest on the body and the most efficient, or you're going to get it from vegetables, which is a glucose, which is more complex, a little harder to deal with, still a superior sugar to the complex carbohydrates that you're going to get from your grains, and your fats. Fats have got to be broken down into sugar. That's a complex process, very hard on the body. And so is meat protein. That's got to be broken down into amino acids. So these complex foods really put a stress on the body. So I'd like everybody to take a look at that chart. And this really, we all know people with diabetes. I just got a call today, another person. I mean, it's just horrible. It's epidemic. It's really, really needless once you understand. But you have got to get control, especially if you have blood sugar problems. You have got to monitor your blood sugar. You can't let it spike up or get too low, especially if you have real problems with it. And you have got to be in charge of this. You are the boss. You have to know what to put in your body. You have to educate yourself. And we're so uneducated. We trust companies. We trust the television commercials. We trust our friends and our society and our culture. And it has caused many, many problems. This is an epidemic. And I've read that by 2050, if the trend continues, a third of us will have diabetes. So that's unacceptable. And just learning a little bit about the causes of high blood sugar and how to tame it is not only can it get you off of medications. I'm not recommending that, by the way. That's something I cannot recommend. But I can tell you that if you start monitoring your blood sugars and they start coming down, you cannot use insulin or you'll bring them down too low. So if you guys join my health club at my site under consultations, it costs $1. You can join my health club. Then I can give you information that I can't give the general public. Okay, because we're now in a private health club relationship, and I can talk to you guys and really lay it all out for you. As just we're just talking, we're just part of a club. So I encourage you all to join my health club for $1. Okay, so that's that. So anyways, let's see if there's some questions here. I believe there are. Okay, Marv Stark has put up his email address. And so if anybody wants to get a hold of Marv offline, you can go to my website, get my email address too. He just wants to chat offline if anybody wants to talk about any kind of issues. Okay, so I've got, it looks like it's Brian True. Okay, Brian is in, this should be interesting. Okay, Brian, fruit does not only contain fructose, it also contains glucose. That's true. So it does require insulin, and the fructose also must be processed by the liver before it is accepted by the body. Well, I don't know about that. I have not been taught that. I know you're really into this, and I know you're really challenging Dr. Morse, and you're really trying to challenge his teachings, and I appreciate that. And so are you, just go look at that Harvard study and look at fruits on the glycemic load and the glycemic index versus vegetables. Okay, so now you have Harvard information, and you can further your quest for knowledge by using these studies. And I am completely open, Brian. Absolutely. I mean, nothing is written in stone, and so many things do change. I can tell you myself, that fruit is a fantastic sugar that will help you keep your blood sugar in line a lot more than you think it is. So, but yeah, when you start going into these complexities here, you can get off into some little areas that are very can take you off the mark. I know that we had chatted and you did have some health issues. I don't know exactly what they are, and you are really trying to find a remedy, and I appreciate that. And I believe that you gave Dr. Morse's methodology a try, and you've had some issues. So, but put your questions up here. Let's maybe leave this open for the forum. That'd be great. I'd love to chat about it, and I'd love to help you. That's what I'm here for. I'm not here to say that My information is the gospel or Dr. Morse's. So, yeah, let's challenge it. But I think you can agree that fruit sugar is a very, very good sugar for the body. And but go ahead and challenge me on that. Let's have a dialogue. I'd love to. Let's do it, man. Nobody is above anybody here. We can all do it. And I am not above, a challenge. I don't know it all. I don't want to know. I don't want to profess to know it all. And a lot of my stayed beliefs have been challenged and uprooted by new information. So, but I think really the issue here, Brian, and you really, yeah, I love that you're challenging things, but the real issue is healing, right? That is what we're trying to do. We're trying to heal people. You're trying to heal yourself. I have found my remedy. I had fibromyalgia, like I told you. I have found my remedy through this. It works for me. It worked for me. So, maybe I'm different than you. I don't know. But really, we're trying to find healing. We're not trying to dethrone anybody. We're not trying to have an intellectual battle. Okay, and I just want you to know that it's all about healing. Okay, so I'd love to help you find your remedy. If I can offer anything, I'd love to do that. Okay, we got another question here from Roffer Steve. Seems to be a controversy these days about hybrid fruits being mineral deficient and causing long-term issues. Brian and others say it's best to supplement with greens. Where do you stand on that? And this is one of the things when Brian brought it up. It is an interesting point. The hybrid fruits are inferior. They've been crossbred so much and all that. We grow in depleted soils and things like that. A lot of pesticide use, things like that. The heirloom seeds, the natural seeds. DNA has been hybrided out. So there is a case for that. Now, Dr. Morse has specifically issued a video, I think late last week, uh, about this issue, and his stance on it was that the hybrid, even fruits out of Walmart, have helped people find remedy. They've helped them, alleviate some very serious illnesses. So he claims, even though he does agree that the fruits are not as powerful and pure as they used to be, that they're so energetic, the highest energetics of any food. They're so cleansing and alkalizing that they can still get the job done. Now, what I tell people is that if you're worried about that, let's say you're having a couple of smoothies in the morning, like I do. I run on smoothies all morning. I'm 100% fruit, and once in a while, I love a product called Vitamineral Green, and it's by Health Force Nutritionals. This guy Jameis Sheridan, very knowledgeable guy, and he has got really high quality raw, vegan, organic, everything you can imagine, greens in there. He's got the chlorellas, the spirulinas, the shilajit, the alfalfa sprouts, and spinach, and all these wonderful things in there. You can take a scoop of that and put it in. I just take it's a half of a teaspoon, I believe. So you can throw those in there every once in a while just to make sure you're getting things. And I take herbs as well. Herbs are I believe, I don't know of any hybrided herbs out there. So I take a lot of herbs. So I'm going to get that nutrition there too. I don't worry about it. I'm thriving. I eat a lot of fruit and I'm thriving. I'm not depleted at all. And I want to tell you guys, I'm going to be 60 this year. Okay. And I didn't want to tell people, like I figured, oh God, he's too old to even be doing this, whatever. But I just want to tell you, and I want this to be known. I'm not going to hide it, because I am not like my friends in a lot of ways, and I I can just say I owe it to a raw food diet high in fruit. I really do. And I want you guys to you know, at least try it out. You know, at least try this out, and at least go fruit till noon, and try to stay raw as much as you can, and eventually you'll feel this energy. So, anyways, yeah, hybrid or not, I'm a big fan of fruit, and haven't blown out my adrenals or pancreas yet. So, and I just keep cleansing the deeper levels. So I'm a big fan. Okay, Brian. I hope that answers your question, Steve. And Steve, man, I just want to tell you, I'm not going to say too much unless I get permission. But this guy is a hardcore trooper. He really is. This man is, God, I can just tell you, man, he is tough. He is tough. So, anyways, Brian, fruit sugar is good in general. Okay, good. But there are many varieties of this fruit sugar. The fruit we have available now isn't natural, so it's disruptive to chemistry. Well, I mean, of course it's natural. I mean, it's growing on trees and bushes and plants and things like that. I think you have to be more specific. I know that I avoid papaya. Papaya is GMO. I don't believe in genetically modified food. I don't want to put anything genetically modified in my body because I believe it modifies your DNA, and I believe that it's the cause of a lot of our problems. I was just talking to somebody, and they were in Europe, and they said, "God, everybody eats terrible over there. They're eating pasta and bread and cappuccinos and smoking cigarettes, but they're all thin." And I think it might be a lot to do with this genetically modified food and the food additives that are put in. Yeah, when we eat processed food, we eat anything with a label. We don't know what we're putting in our body. So, um, anyways, but I believe there are a few fruits that are genetically modified. So I agree with that. But Brian, to say that all fruits are not natural, that are available now, I mean, are they perfect? No, they're not perfect. A lot of them are factory farmed. A lot of the fruit that you get might be grown out of country. That's true. But 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 okay, let's see. There was a lady who, okay, so wait, you got two here. Okay. The fruits we have available now isn't natural, so it's disruptive to chemistry. I haven't found that. I haven't found that. I eat organic as much as I can. Um, I get a lot I live in Ventura, California, which is the citrus capital. So I eat a lot of oranges from a local grower. They're fabulous. I eat a lot of lemons from the local grower. Um, my bananas are organic. They're probably grown down in Ecuador or something. I don't know. But I eat a lot of organic berries, high in nutrition, super high. You can see the richness. I mean, they're just the raspberries are just deep color. So are the blackberries. So uh, I don't know. I disruptive to chemistry. I don't know. Just add this vitamin mineral green into your smoothies, and see how you feel. Okay. I've had great success with it. There was a lady who did 3 months on hybrid grapes, ended up in the ICU with all of her blood chemistry depleted, almost in a coma from low blood sugar. It's very depleting without greens. I don't know if that, I mean, to blame that just on the fruit, I mean, there might be some other issues there. I don't really know that case. We'd have to really take a look at that. But be careful on just blanketing, blaming fruit for everything. It sounds like you're anti-fruit. You're really coming down on fruit, Brian. Let's really get in there. I'll work with you, man, and we'll try to figure this out. But massive imbalances of the energy cleanse. I don't. I mean, I haven't experienced any of this, and I don't know anybody that has. And I don't really know that many people who stay on 100% fruit. I know that if you have a really serious illness, okay, what they call cancer, that these massive grape fasts have helped a lot of people. And Dr. Morse always talks about them. You know, this woman who did 45 days on grapes and got rid of bone cancer, which is really hard to get rid of. So, going into a coma, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know about this, but I would suggest that, that you figure out a balance that's good for you, and you're running the balance here. It's okay when you're on a mono grape diet. You're in a high cleansing mode. Okay, you're in a highly energizing, a lot of energetics in the grapes, a lot of electrical energy for the body for healing that goes into the cells. The ATP powers up those cells. You need energy to heal these serious diseases. Okay, so the balance is that I'm on a high sugar, high fruit sugar, cleansing, energizing food. But then again, am I going to be depleting myself as far as my strength? Okay, and rebuilding tissues, things like that for bulking up and all that. So there is a balance there. Yeah, you can't. I don't believe. I mean, I haven't experienced this yet. I don't know if in today's world we can be 100% fruitarians. That's not the goal. The goal is to get in. If you have an illness, get in on a high fruit thing, and most people only go 80% anyways and have salads. So yeah, take as much as you want in there to you feel like you can kind of feel your homeostasis, and muscle test it too. Okay. Um, all right, so let's move on here. Okay, so you will likely not feel the depleting effects of fruit unless you're on a mono fruit diet for a long time. Yeah, that's true. I'll agree with that. I'll agree with that. Yeah, to go one type of food like that, yeah, you could be missing some things. This is true, but try the vitamin mineral green. Love it. I have no stock in the company, by the way. So, all right. Thanks, Brian. Okay, so super raw vegan. Since fruit is so yin, do you ever find yourself wanting to eat meat and have good sex? As Dr. Morse always says, if you want to have good sex, eat a piece of meat. Well, that's very funny. Very good. Knows it's over. It smells the blood of its friends. It starts, those adrenals start firing up and pumping out the epinephrine. The adrenaline is just kicking up, and that's what you're getting, and you get jazzed off the meat. And there is this thing about this carnal thing about meat and sex. I can see the tie there. Okay. No, I don't. I don't eat meat. Yeah, I don't have any craving for meat. I will admit that when I drive by the Habit Burger here in Ventura, it smells so good I want to pull in, but I never get close. I think about it, but it really does smell good. But that's a very funny question. I really like that. I don't think. Look, okay, at my age, you know, you don't want anything to clog up your prostate. Okay, seriously. You don't want to have any inflammation down there in that area because you won't be having sex. All right. So no, sex and meat are actually opposites. Okay. When you have the energetics of fruit, the cleansing of fruit, the anti-inflammatory action of fruit, it drains everything everywhere in the body, including the prostate. It gets the testicles online for more testosterone, all these wonderful things. The hormones get in balance. So no correlation there. Okay. Okay. Is as astem astigmatism considered a parathyroid weakness? If the parathyroid is down, does that mean the thyroid is likely down also? I don't know what this word is. Astigmatism. I don't know what that is. This is DMH60. Yeah. Let me know what that is. I've never heard of that, but I'd like to know what that is. There is a correlation between the parathyroid being down and the thyroid being down, and vice versa. Yes, that is true. Um, you know that the thyroid is a gland here in the throat, and the parathyroid are actually these little kind of, they look like little just nodules on the thyroid. So they're very closely related. In fact, to help with the parathyroid, you take the thyroid thymus tonic. So Yeah, they're very close together. Yet they do different things. Um, uh, Sorry, that should be a stigmatism. Uh, I don't know. I don't really, that's something I don't know. I could look into that and we could talk offline. I don't know if there's a connection there. Okay. Um, I just don't know. The parathyroid, its main responsibility is for calcium utilization. Okay. You take calcium in through your foods, right? And Brian, the vegetables are great for calcium. We know that. So, and so is fruit. There's plenty of calcium in fruit. But so you take this calcium in, and if the parathyroid is down, it's not going to utilize that calcium. In other words, it's not going to get it into the blood system. And a certain calcium level in the blood is necessary in order to keep the structure of the body, the bones, the organs, to keep the organs in shape, to keep you from prolapsing, getting hemorrhoids and prolapsed bowels and sagging skin, all those things. So, yeah, to keep the structure. And also, the calcium is really essential for the nervous system. The nervous system uses calcium. And also, when the calcium levels are down, depression can set in. This is why a lot of moms get this postpartum depression, because their calcium levels are down from creating these wonderful children. So yeah, whether astigmatism is related, I don't know, but I'd like to know. Okay, so help me out on that. I keep a list of everything. I have a running list of how everything is connected in all kinds of problems I cross correlate. So this is a master list. It is a mess right now. I mean, it has scribbles and notes and all kinds of funny things. I'd love to clean it up and make this available to everybody as a master healing sheet. And I'll do that. Everything I do is open source, by the way. I don't want to hold back on anything. There's certain things I can't tell you unless we're in a private club. But um, uh, you know, uh, but I want to make everything available. Okay. Um, uh, okay. This is Nasser from Saudi Arabia. He wants to talk about sarcoidosis. Sarcoidosis. Okay. Yeah. Hi, Nasser from Saudi Arabia. Very good. Yeah. The sarcoidosis is what they call an autoimmune disease. Okay. And the idea behind the medical community in autoimmune is that your body actually attacks itself. Now, I don't believe that myself. I can see how they would think that if they didn't understand the lymph system. Okay, but the sarcoidosis is really, in most cases, it affects the lungs, and it's an interstitial acidosis in the lungs. Okay, and interstitial means between the cells. In other words, it's a lymphatic problem, and between the cells, the fluid between the cells, the lymph fluid is acidic. It's causing inflammation. Okay, it's making it hard to breathe, and so the treatment of these kinds of things is usually done with anti-inflammatories, steroids, things like that, to bring that down. Um, so, like many other things, to get rid of inflammation throughout the body, you've got to clean the lymph system. Okay? And to clean the lymph system, you've got to get the inflammation out of the kidneys first. Okay? Because they're usually inflamed if everything else is inflamed. You got to get that inflammation out of the kidneys so they filter the toxins and acids out of the lymphatic system. So that's the doorway out. So the first goal, everybody, in the healing process, besides getting on a high raw, mostly fruit diet to get lymph moving, to get inflammation down, is to really go after those kidneys and get those kidneys filtering. So that will start opening the door, and then you want to move lymph by taking some herbs or going into some really astringent fruits like your lemons, oranges, even grapes, and get lymph moving. Okay, there's exercises you can do. There's protocols. It's all on my website. Get lymph moving. Get it out that kidney door. And that'll start draining everything. You can take specific herbs and do specific things to the lungs to get them to drain more. Well, one thing, if you're having a hard time breathing, and a lot of that times it's acids dry out things, so it can dry out tissues in the lungs. So putting castor oil packs, in the lung area, and using some heating pads can actually drive oils into that. Lipids are anti-inflammatory. They also can soften this trapped stuff so it can come out. There's inhalers that you can make out of herbs, herbal inhalers that are non-carcinogenic, like the store-bought ones. So there's a lot of things you can do to move lymph, generally in the body and in specific areas. You always want to get your adrenals up. The adrenal glands are so essential in detoxification, guys. Most of us have weak adrenals because we lead very stressful lives, and we're passed down with weak adrenals. But the adrenals control a lot of things. One of them is neurotransmitters that help breathing. If you have low neurotransmitters, you're not breathing. Your breath is hard. Also, they make corticosteroids that are anti-inflammatory. Okay, the adrenals make steroids in the body. And if you're not producing enough steroids, they want to give you steroids, which are really, really hard on the body. Okay, so make your own. Get the adrenals up. If your blood pressure, the top number is below, let's say 110, take some licorice root. Licorice root will help bring those up, and detoxify. That'll clear out the glands and get them back online. Okay. Okay. All right. So I hope that answers your question, Nasser, and good luck to you. And thank you for joining us tonight, all the way from Saudi Arabia. That's really fantastic. We really truly are building a global audience here. It's wonderful. Astigmatism, eyeball loses its perfect round. Okay, so yes, there would be a parathyroid connection, most likely in as far as structure. Maybe the structure of the eye is weakened because of low calcium weakness. A lot of times acids will pull calcium out of tissues. And a lot of people have acidic eyes, by the way. That's why we have cataracts and macular degeneration. So the acids will pull calcium out of the tissues and could cause it to lose its structure. So that is, a lot of times when you start to understand just a few things about the body, you can kind of back engineer these things. And so that definitely would be a possibility. If there is a sign of acidosis in the eyes, then that further confirms things. But I don't know about eyeball pressures. I know the eyeball has some pressure in it, so there could be a problem there too. Okay, I hope that answers your question there. Jeb Jeep, I see all the people on YouTube that have great success with starches. Dr. Dougal believes we are starchivores. What are your thoughts on starch? I don't know, Dr. McDougall, but if there was a spectrum, I'd be on the exact opposite side of that spectrum. I don't know of anybody that has success with starches. I mean, look, complex sugars, when you got polysaccharides, multiple sugars going on, it trips up the body. Keep it simple, keep it natural. Most of these starches are cooked, they're acidic, they're acid forming to the body, they cause inflammation. They as we know from the Harvard study, they spike blood sugars rapidly. What does Dr. McDougall look like? And is he, is starchivore? I don't get that one. He might be a real hyper person that just burns through carbohydrates that they're going out of style. I don't know this guy, but look, I don't have all the answers, and I'm not the only opinion in town. I just know what rings true and has worked for me, and has worked for people that I know and have worked with. So, boy, I'd be on the opposite side of the spectrum. One thing you'll notice when you see what people eat that don't have a lot of money, they eat a lot of starches. because they're cheap. Pasta's cheap. Bread is cheap, in the grand scheme of things. And they do give you energy. They do fill you up. And God knows I love I love a good piece of French bread. Man, I can taste it now. But I can tell you that they will put on the weight. Your body, you get hit with all that sugar. It raises the blood glucose levels. It's not metabolized by the cells. There's too much of it, or you burned out your pancreas from it overworked making insulin to try and deal with this stuff, and you inflame the body by eating these acidic foods. I mean, my God. So those are my thoughts on starch. I don't. What is great success? I don't know. I mean, I'd like to know. There's anomalies in everything. I mean, George Burns smoked cigars and drank cocktails all day. I mean, you know, I don't know. Keith Richards is still alive. I mean, go figure. So, God bless him. He's had great success. He might have a real angel guarding him, but I don't have that, and most people don't. So, but I'd love to know more, man. I'm open. Okay, Brian, True, your stream cut off. Uh-oh. Oh no. Let me make sure I'm online here, people. I'm sorry. Well, it says I'm live here. Uh, okay. Okay, your stream cut off before, Mark, but I'm fine with myself now. Good. I'm eating mostly palms and berries for fruit with a mixed diet. Good. I had to figure it out for myself, or I would still be suffering. That's great, Brian. It's awesome. Yeah, man. I want to help you. I really, truly do. I want to know what you're going through, and maybe I can help. And we can use your case as a reference point, because you're articulate and you can really talk about these things. So yeah, wonderful. Yeah, you gotta always figure it out by yourself. I'm just a guy on the internet, okay? You have to experience this kind of stuff. If what I say is making sense to you, then go off and do it. But know that if you start feeling terrible, it might be a healing crisis, okay? It might be a good thing. Sometimes you got to go backwards before you go forwards. I mean, when you start getting the body aches and the headaches and cold and flu-like symptoms, and you're emotionally detoxing, things like that, it can get real rough. But that's part of the process, so know that too. But I have this information on my website as well. So I'm really happy that Brian is finding remedy. I know he's been searching quite a bit. It can be tough, and it does take faith. There is some faith involved in this, because what we're doing here is so counterintuitive to what our society teaches us. So I think that we do have to have some faith there, and we do have to have people that stand behind us and help us, and that's why I'm doing these. Okay, so I'm here to help. Okay, DMH60, you mentioned using licorice root for low blood pressure. Is licorice used short term? That is such a great question. People always ask, well, how long do I use the herbs? And my answer is use them as needed. In other words, okay, when we take licorice, for instance, and I'm so glad you brought up this question because I was just thinking about this today. So with licorice, for instance, okay, so the idea of taking the licorice root is to raise up our adrenals. Okay, we want more adrenals. So, and I got to be honest with you, I don't know how licorice works, but it does work. So what happens is that you go out and get yourself a blood pressure monitor. They're $50 on Amazon.com. I have the Omron, Omron, IntelliSense. I like it, although I've never tested it against a real professional meter. But it's a wrist meter. It's $50. It's really easy to use, and it stores numbers, and it's super simple. Okay, so what you do, you get yourself a monitor, and you want your top number. Okay, you want that number, that systolic number, to be between 120 and 130. Okay. Now, you also want that lower number to be between 60 and 70. All right. So if both numbers are high, there's a bit of a balance there. But anyways, just speaking of the adrenals, between 120 and 130. So let's say you're coming in at 105. All right. So that you need to bring that number up in order to bring those adrenals online, to get your neurotransmitters, to get your steroids. Okay, so you take the licorice root, and then all of a sudden, you're taking your licorice root, and maybe you're not getting any results, so you take some more, and you get your dose right, and all of a sudden the numbers are coming up, and let's say you're at 125, and you go, oh, this is great. Okay, so you stop taking the licorice root, and you're still monitoring your blood sugar numbers. I mean your blood pressures, and your numbers now start to drop. Let's say they go down to 115. You say, well, okay, I got to take a little more licorice root. So everybody's different, but we have these tests that we can do. It's wonderful. Okay, same thing with the thyroid. You know, we can take let's say the kelps. Or a thyroid tonic. Dr. Morse has a good one. Or you can take a thyroid glandular, and you can say, well, when do I stop? Well, there's a basal temperature thermometer you can buy for $8 on Amazon.com. Make sure it's the one that goes underneath the arm, okay? So you take that temperature first thing in the morning before you move, keep it under there for 10 minutes, get your number, and if you fall below 97.8 that you got to take more of your kelp or your thyroid tonic. So, or if you go above 98.3, you got to back off. So, there's things you can do to see how long you take it. Okay, I hope that helps. And yeah, as far as the herbs, there's things you can do. As far as the kidney herbs, until your lower diastolic number gets between 60 and 70. And you have kidney filtration. So same with the lymphatic herbs. When you've got kidney filtration and things are going well, you can back off on those. Okay. Oh wow, I was down for a few minutes. I'm sorry, you guys. Yeah, I'm glad that it reseated itself. I apologize. I was doing a lot of talking too. So okay, so Brian, yeah, we can do a video discussion. So good, man. Brian, I hope you come back a lot and bring more information to the table. I really appreciate it. Okay, okay, yeah, you're back up, Mark. Okay, so C Tahoe 1. If my kidneys filter awesome regularly, but I have a lot of back pain still and not eating meat and dairy, auto accident years ago, degenerative disc, but Dr. M says just give up all proteins. So, okay, so kidneys are filtering well, still a lot of back pain, not eating meat or dairy, auto accident caused degenerative disc. Okay, the reason why Dr. Morse is saying to give up the proteins is that proteins are acidic and acids cause pain. Now, it gets kind of, this really gets kind of tough. Those of you that have nerve pain, I really feel for, because the nerves take a long time to regenerate. And the hope is that you get a client, and you say, okay, I got nerve pain. Well, we're hoping that it's a pinched nerve somewhere, or it's an inflamed nerve. There's a lot of acids, around the nerve, and that we're going to get the kidneys filtering, removing acids out of the body, and that pain is going to go away rather quickly. That's not always the case, okay? Nerves can take a long time sometimes to regenerate. So you may have some myelin sheath issues, where the nerves are exposed and they're raw. Shingles is a perfect example. So it's not as easy as we like it to be sometimes. So yeah. So but getting rid of proteins is really essential to getting rid of acids. Now you say you're not doing the meat and dairy, but C Tahoe, are you doing any grains? Those are acidic as well. You want to go on a mucusless diet, a alkalizing diet, high fruit, green leafy vegetables, all raw, very, very minimal amounts of nuts and seeds. So you want to do alkalizing foods. And that'll help you not only in getting acids out of the body, which are painful. Things heal quicker when you're alkalized. If you're real acidic, cuts take forever to heal. So that's another thing. Also, regeneration of tissues takes place in an alkaline environment. Okay, um, and you need the high energetics of the fruits, especially in order to regenerate nerves and to regenerate tissues. So I would get on a mucusless, alkaline diet, and I would also, if it was me, I'd also be seeing a chiropractor to make sure I'm in line, to make sure you're not pinching anything. And you want to halt degeneration as much as you can, okay? And that is done through detoxification. Um, uh, Degenerative disc will reverse also with diet change. It is my belief that every cell in the body can regenerate. I believe that there is a sort of an energetic blueprint of the body that is perfection, that the body's always trying to get back to. And that when we remove obstructions that we put in, when we remove acids, when we get in line with the power, the awesome power of Mother Nature, and the foods that she has given us to put in our bodies, and stay away from the foods that are not supposed to be in there, the man-made foods, this fake food, these chemicals and all this stuff, that we're going to return to that perfect blueprint. And that's my mission. That's where I'm going, and higher and higher levels, and not and not going back. um, I'm a living experiment on this, on how much I can maintain my youth and my vitality as I age. So I'm a great guinea pig, and I'm going to share this adventure. So I believe anything can regenerate, and I believe, look, we're all going to die at some point. That's not the point. And when my time is up, it's up. And there's a lot of reasons for that. There's a lot of spiritual reasons for that. But the idea of having to go into degeneration as we age, and to slowly wither away in pain and immobility and suffering, I think that we're meant to just pass away like one night in our sleep, without a lot of issues. I mean, that's my belief. I mean, most people don't go that way, unfortunately, but there are people that do. And in doing what I do, I've heard a lot of amazing stories. I mean, just amazing stories. I mean, one of the great things, I get contacted by such high spiritual people. It's amazing, and the stories that they tell me. The angels that surround their loved ones and all that. It's just absolutely amazing. So yeah, don't give up on that. Anything can regenerate, and that's the great lesson, everybody. That no matter what the condition is, it can be reversed. And I am not to say, you are not to say what is reversible and what is irreversible. And I have to refer back to Dr. Morse's video on the woman with advanced multiple sclerosis, that got up out of the wheelchair in his office and walked across the room, and just absolutely amazing. I mean, this woman was just so depleted. I mean, my God, and to see her do that, it's so amazing. You guys all got to see that. I know I mentioned that last time. So yeah, it's awesome the power of what we're doing here. And I really, really thank everybody who has even just chosen to listen to this information, even though you may not believe it fully yet, and you may not be willing to try it yet, just to be open-minded enough to even let this information in is really something. And we're working on I guess changing the world in our way. There's a large group of us out there that really truly believe this, and really truly follow these things, and we're really working on changing the consciousness of raising the consciousness, I believe, of the planet. And more people are waking up to this, and taking their health into their own hands. When you give up your power to the doctors and all that, and say, just fix me, okay, just heal me, You're giving up, power to people that aren't in that mode. You know, look, the pharmaceuticals are meant to treat symptoms. They're not meant to cure you. They're meant to alleviate symptoms. Okay, so the true healing is done through you and through nature, not through treatment. Treatment only is only a sort of a band-aid. So true healing comes from you, in your choices. Okay, your choices, to make the highest choices, are really become your karma, so to speak. So the highest choices, in my opinion, is the realignment to nature in the purest way. And Brian brings up a great point. Hybrids have taken us down a bit. You know, we need to raise the consciousness of our growers. And when you go to a farmer's market, which I think everybody should, they're everywhere. Look at the growers. Look at them in the eye. Look at their aura. Look at their energetics. Do they stand up straight? Do they look healthy? Look in their eyes bloodshot, or do they look healthy? How's their skin? Are they thriving? Are they energized? Are they Barry Coral? Barry, if you're out there, we love you. Go Google this on YouTube. Barry Coral. He's got a fruit farm down in Vista, California, and this man is incredible. I think he's 75 or 72 or something, and he is just, the guy is so vibrant. He's so alive, and he's a fruitarian. He's growing things properly down there. If we could have more berry corals, it would be fantastic. So, it is out there. I mean, there is good fruit out there. You may have to hunt it down, but really know your growers, and just try the best you can. And I got Jeb saying, "How do you get your adrenals up?" So we're gonna take this last question. It's a great question. Okay, the adrenals are brought up, like everything else, through detoxification. In other words, what happens is when your lymph system gets backed up, right? It turns acidic, and you can have acidosis, which causes inflammation. Okay, acids inflame, they dehydrate, they damage, head to toe. So when your adrenals start shutting down, it shows you that you have what we call interstitial lymphatic constipation in that particular area. Okay, so um, uh, you can strengthen them by detoxifying them. Detoxification is one of the great strengtheners. Okay, because it allows things to flow again. It allows the nutrition to get in. It allows the toxic waste and acids to be removed. All right. So it just adds more energetics to every part of the body. So detoxification is the answer to cleaning the adrenals, and fixing them. And also, holistically speaking, you know, let's say the adrenals are weak. Well, you know that in the head there's the parathyroid gland. It's a small little gland, but it controls all of the glands, including the adrenals. And it sends signals in the form of hormones to the glands. And I believe it's ACTH to the adrenals, adrenal cortical stimulating hormone or something like this, to the adrenals to fire that up. So in other words, detoxification of the entire body is essential to cleaning any of the glands or any part of the body. It's all a holistic thing. That's why when we detoxify 4 groups at the same time. The kidneys, we get the kidneys opened up. We get the inflammation out of the kidneys first. Get them opened up to be able to let go of an expelled lymph. Okay, and they also clean the blood as well. We know that. We move lymph. There's number 2. We go after the endocrine glands. There's 3. And we go after the GI tract. There's 4. So all at the same time, a holistic approach to draining the whole body. So we never say, okay, we're just going to go, I'm just going to say, hey, take a kidney herb and your kid, I'm sorry, an adrenal herb and your adrenals will be fixed. That doesn't work that way. Okay, so it's a holistic thing. So we get the adrenals up by rebalancing everything and cleaning the inflammation out of them and the rest of the body, and the adrenals will naturally come up. Okay, there are herbs that are specific to the adrenals. I particularly love Siberian ginseng. Um, it's a fantastic herb. It's not like the regular ginseng that's very hot herb that's overstimulating. It doesn't overstimulate at all. It's very nourishing to the adrenals. It's great for the endocrine glands, and I love it. And also the licorice is a powerful herb. But there's other herbs that will bring those up. I don't have them at the top of my mind, but I do have a video that's called Herbs for Detox that will give you those herbs, and so I hope that helps. So that was Jeb. I hope that answers your question. So I think I got to all of your questions tonight, and I really thank you. Sorry we got cut off there. I don't know how much you missed. Possibly it will be on the recorded broadcast. I didn't see anything go down here, so it might be on the recorded part of this. But I'm really interested in this Dr. McDougall, Jeb Jeep, and finding out how someone can thrive on starches. That would be interesting. I mean, I'm really on the I'm really on the opposite side of the spectrum there. Hey, Raw Steve, thank you. Hey, thanks everybody for joining in, and keep the faith. God bless you. I want you to find your remedy, and I want you to thrive. And please, if you find your remedy and you do thrive on this, please help spread the word. There's a lot of suffering souls out there. And, you know, Lord willing, I'm going to be here next week with more information. And Lord willing, you'll be here next week with more questions. And we will continue this, and we will build a group. We're getting 500 people a week watching these. So you guys are doing your part to help. And yeah, great questions. And thanks for challenging me too. I love it. We'll see you guys next week. All right.